Hello everybody and welcome back to Odin's movie blog. I am the critic who is a cynic. How is everyone doing this evening? Welcome back to the One Man Low Council and welcome back to episode 179 of the Welcome to Asgard podcast. Hopefully everyone is doing swimmingly on this Tuesday evening. Hope everyone's week has been going swimmingly so far. And thank you very much for being here this evening. Some shout outs before we begin today because some memberships were renewed just the other day. So a shout out to Nitrium for being a member for 6 months in a row. Alex McCarthy also being a member for 6 months. ZK Man, member for 6 months. Jens Jurgensen, a member for 2 months. Latino Slant for 2. Dean Heiss, a member for 2 months. And David S. for becoming a member the other day. Thank you so very much to all of my members on YouTube, all of my subscribers over on DLive, and of course, to all of my Patreon Subscribe Star peeps, and to the wonderful Valks who are here tonight. So let's go ahead and say hello to the people over in the YouTube chat. We got Mr. Roy there, who was there quite early. Max Anderson, Andrew Hoyle, who's a member on the channel. Hail to you, Andrew Hoyle. Thank you again for being a member. Tina B is indeed in the chat. What's going on, Tina? Hope the Greek went very well and went swimmingly for you. And yes, as Tina says there at 6:52, and also, of course, it'll pop up down here. Pop up, pop down, pop, up, 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 up. It'll be down here as well. If you have a comment or a question and you don't feel like super chatting or donating, well, that's totally fine. All I ask is that you put the phrase Odin question, all one word, Odin question, no spaces, and then it'll highlight orange on my screen, and that will let me know that you're trying to get my attention. So thank you very much, Tina, for reminding everybody. And as you can see, tonight, I'll be giving some of my thoughts about the Batman trailer. I made a video yesterday, the first video I'd made in a couple weeks, doing very well, so thank you everyone for the support. So I'll just talk a little bit more about my thoughts on the Batman trailer. Also, the Snyder Cut trailer as well. I have not made a reaction video to that, but I do have some thoughts on it. And then, of course, movies are back, and it's fun. We have some box office numbers coming in. Unhinged has brought in around $4 million, which is not really a whole lot of money, but when almost all theaters or most theaters are still shut down across the country, and you have them limited to 40% capacity, some states less, some states more, I'd say the fact that they're making any money at all is quite impressive. So that, of course, is making some box office money. And this weekend, more theaters are opening across the country. AMC starting their second wave of theater openings. Regal, of course, also continuing to reopen across the country as well, Cinemark. And so we're going to have some movies coming out, including a movie I still don't believe exists, and I will be going to see it Thursday night in IMAX. And that is, of course, The New Mutants, or should I say, The Old Mutants, because this film has been delayed for about 3 years. It's been done for well over 3 years now at this point. It's finally getting released, and I have to be there opening night because I have to see and make sure that indeed it is real. HyperNex13, hello, hello. Thank you for being in the YouTube chat as well. Mr. Peabody, who is also a member over there. Thank you very much for being there. Orange Hat Reviews is a member as well. And he says, how is everyone? Hope you are doing very, very well. Orange Hat Reviews. We got Father Christopher Miller. Hail to you, Father. 13th Warrior in the chat as well. Cobra Viper 999. Hope you're doing well. Father Christopher Miller says, I hope you're happy, Odin. I had to watch part of a Chuck Schumer ad before this started. Well, dear Lord, I don't know why a Chuck Schumer ad would be playing on my channel. If there was a way I could find out how to access my ads and to say yay or nay, I would love to do that, because Chuck Schumer, you are not welcome on this channel because you're an asshat. Mark Lazarth, how is it going, good sir? How's it going, Mark? Mark Lazarth. HyperNex13, Fear of FEMA. Fear of FEMA. Damn. Why are you afraid of FEMA, man? Stream Elements in the chat. Soul Assassin G-Monkey76 is here as well. Orange Hat Reviews, who's a member, says, Odin, how are you? I am calling from Twitter jail. Apparently blue checks never read a dictionary. Yeah, what did you get in trouble for? That's what I want to know. What in the world did you get in trouble for? Because I know that all I know is that you are no longer under the same profile as you once were. Waiting for Nerdrotic. How's it going, Laura? Waving over there from California. Oh, poor California. Crazy stuff going on over there. And it makes sense as to why everyone's trying to get out. Stephen McDonough, what's going on, Stephen? How is it going? Let's see. Anyone else that I have not yet said hello to? Tina B says, welcome to any newcomers. If you want Odin's to see your comment. Put Odin question. There it is. Thank you, Tina, for letting them know once again. We got member Bruce in the chat, member Nano Reaper in the chat as well. Bruce says, hi ho. Thanatos Felicitas is in the chat. Nitrium, who's a member on the channel, says, hail Odin, hail to you, Nitrium. Thank you very, very much for being here today. I appreciate it. Tommy in the Guinea Pig Collective. I always love reading that name. Dean Heiss. Aloha peeps. Tina B at 701 tagged me and says, I got a perfect score for my lesson. Boom, Tina. Rockin' the Greek. That's awesome. Mark Lazar tagged at 701. I will avoid Raised by Wolves on HBO Max. The androids raise children away from beliefs in imaginary things that destroyed Earth. Sounds very anti-faith to me. Yeah, I remember hearing about it. Never saw any trailer for it. But if that is the mindset of, oh, yeah, we're going to raise children with machines and leave everything about or anything that has to do with faith and imaginary things, and those imaginary things are what destroyed Earth, yeah, that's very anti-faith. No question about it. No question about it. So I have no interest in that either, based on that basic description. Laura, waiting for Nerdrotic, tagged and says, I watched Watchmen last night, and I know this sounds harsh, but I think I hate Zack Snyder movies. Laura, it's not harsh at all. I'm right there with you. And I've said this constantly, and people hate when I say it, but it's true. I can't think of a single Zack Snyder film that I ever desire to want to go back and watch. I can't think of a single one. Now, I do always mention I have not seen his version of Dawn of the Dead. Some people say it's good. Some people are ambivalent towards it. So that might be a movie where maybe I would actually enjoy it, but I've never seen it, so I can't speak to it. All the films that I have seen from him, though, even ones that maybe I liked or I thought were okay at the time, I have no desire to ever watch them again. And I think that speaks just to how he is as a filmmaker. Some people might love his style, but for me, I need substance more than style. Again, if you like his style, great. But I think we can all, at least if we were being honest, say he definitely focuses more on style than he does on substance. Because if the substance was there, it wouldn't matter what I thought about his style. I wouldn't feel this negative desire to never want to see anything he's ever done ever again. You see what I mean? Fear of FEMA, 1 minute ago, thank you very much for the $2 super chat, says, my name is an X-Files reference because I am old. Okay, yes. Yeah, I've only ever seen like bits and pieces of the X-Files. I've never seen episodes all the way through, or let alone the entire series. So Fear of FEMA, yeah. All I see from that, though, is like the government organization known as FEMA that takes care of disaster relief. So I'm like, why are you afraid of FEMA? Why are you afraid? But thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. Hybrid X13 tagged and says, hey, my brother, how's it going? Hope the weather's going well where you are. It's been raining nonstop here where I am. I wish we had some rain. It's been raining here actually nonstop too, because I'm here in southeast Tennessee. And yeah, right along the border between us and Georgia. Again, right in the Chattanooga area. So we've had a lot of rain too, but I've been enjoying it for the most part. It's better than the sun. I'm definitely a vampire in that way. Kara Tharp, what's going on, Kara Tharp? I definitely recognize that name from Friday Night Tights, so thank you very much for being here and joining me today. Keck44, how is it going? Glad to see you in the chat. Nana Reaper, who is a member, 702 says, I was not impressed by the Batman trailer. Yeah, and I will be getting to my thoughts on that in just a hot second. Once the chat jumps on YouTube and I catch up on D-Live, I'll go into that. Andrew Hoyle, who's a member, says, can't wait for Tenet tomorrow. Yes. Andrew Hoyle, please do not spoil it for anyone, because here in the States, we have to wait until Monday for most of us. Not every market. Some markets are getting it a little earlier, but I have to wait until Monday. I'll be able to see a 5 p.m. showing of that in IMAX as well. Very, very excited for it. I'm just glad to be going back to the movies. Just the fact that I'm going to an IMAX screen on Thursday has me excited. Yeah, I'm not really excited for the New Mutants because I just don't believe that the film exists. So how can I be excited for something that I don't believe exists, which is why I'm going to make sure that, if it does exist, I can tell you. But at the same time, I'm just excited to be back in a theater again, and more excited especially to be able to see Tenet the way that it's supposed to be seen, because a lot of it, or at least parts of it, were shot using IMAX cameras, and that's kind of the shtick that Christopher Nolan has. And you know what? It's a good one, because IMAX stuff looks great. It just looks so clear, and obviously there's a use of the use of film, which is very important to getting that clarity of image too, and it's awesome. So Andrew Hoyle, congratulations, man. You definitely don't spoil it. Just let us know if you liked it or if you didn't like it. HyperNex13, tagged 703. I can't help myself from seeing Battinson's chin. Don't know why it's so distracting for me. Maybe it's the cow. Liked his I'm Vengeance line, though. HyperNex13, that is one of my criticisms. That is one of the things that I cannot get over. And I mentioned in my video, but it honestly is something that is just so bothering to me. Slicer Neons, Hail Asgard. Does Prince Thor have an official ETA? Early October is the official ETA, but obviously it could be earlier, it could be later. Babies come when they want to come, so we'll get there eventually, though. Let's see. Tina B. Titus says, I saw the trailer for Old Mutants. It was hilarious. Wait, was it supposed to be funny? No, it's supposed to be a horror film. And then they've changed it so many times, I don't even know if the film knows what it is anymore. So, yeah, I have a feeling that I'm going to see the film, and I have not seen any of the new trailers, and I'm going to say, wait, the original trailer that I remember seeing had this tone. Why is the tone? It's going to be terrible if it does exist. By the way, Tina B also tagged at 702 and says, thanks for watching the live video with me. What a mess, but thumbs way up for our police. Damn right. Tina and I were watching. There was a protest in the Louisville area of Kentucky earlier today. And there was a live stream of it that was actually being streamed by the police department and the woman actually said during the video, it's being done for transparency because you're going to see other people take short videos, take them out of context, and you'll have a live stream of the entire event and what the police were doing. And they did their job. They did everything that they were supposed to do. And it was very awesome to see that happen. And it's just another reminder that 99% of cops are good people doing their job, not doing anything illegal, not doing anything they're not supposed to be doing. And it just pisses me off that we live in a world right now where there are freaking riots around, where businesses are being destroyed, people's lives are being destroyed, all because of false narratives that are being spun. It's so ridiculous. And only one major political party is supporting that nonsense. And if they're not outright supporting it, their silence is deafening. And this is coming from someone that hates both political parties. I don't associate with either of the majors. That's why I call myself an independent. I'm a Catholic independent voter. There's certain issues that are important to me because I am a Catholic, but at the end of the day, I'm so sick of it. I'm so sick of the politicking on both sides. And so that's why whenever someone comes out here and says, this party only, I say, no, don't just say Democrats, don't just say Republicans, all right? They're all a part of it. They're all a part of the power in society. They're all part of the political class. So none of them are good. None of them are good in a general sense. See, now I'm generalizing. Look what you had me do. Look what you had me do. But yes, thank you very much for sharing that with me, Tina, because it was really cool to see happen in real time with nothing taken out of context. It was really cool to see. All right, so let's go here. It's a Trap Production 703 says, greetings, my lord. You are looking quite fashionable with the baldness, my lord. I hope you and the Lady Freya and the whole fam are doing quite great. Well, thank you very much, Trap Productions. Thank you so much for being here, man. I love you. I hope the channel is growing swimmingly. Let's see. We had a comment, and then the chat jumped on me, as it normally does. So let's go ahead and see where we left off. Jacob Vulk. How's it going, Jacob Vulk? Who says that the film was crazy amazing. Glad to hear it. Talking about Tenet. All right, let me say hello to my D-Live people. What's going on, D-Live people? We got Captain Mr. Peabody, Captain Mr. Roy, Adam Frank and the Clan. We got Captain Dean Heiss over there as well. And no, I was not early. I was on time. Just as a wizard always is. But I hope everyone's doing well. Captain ZK Man is over there. What's going on, Captain ZK Man? How's it going? How is it going? We got some combos going on in the chat. Adam Tagnon says, no puppies yet. Well, hope everyone's doing well. Captain Mr. Roy says, I was going to see Unhinged today, but I had to evacuate from Hurricane Laura. No, Mr. Roy. Captain Mr. Roy, no. I hate when that happens. That's one thing I do not miss about being on the coast is the hurricane season. Because I'm looking at everything going on, and I'm aware of it because I have family still down there. But it's also one of those things where it's like, yeah, but I don't have to worry about it. And it's a nice feeling to have. It's a nice feeling to have. Captain Mr. Peabody says, the New Mutants doesn't exist, so I won't get in trouble for apparently dumping it down. Nope, you won't. If you sail the high seas, you're never going to find it because it doesn't exist. But anyway, thank you all so very much, D-Laugh fan, for being here. I love you guys so very much. If you could smash a like button, I'd say smash it. But so far, that's not an option. So anyway, before I get back into the YouTube, yes, just some thoughts about the Batman trailer. So it was made, a comment was made earlier about the bat chin. Yeah, and that was one of the big problems that I had with it too, was that to me, it just didn't look right. Like, it just didn't match what was going on with the costume and with the tone of the movie, because you have this very dark, very gritty tone, and then all of a sudden you see Batman, you see Robert Pattinson in the bat suit, and all I could see was this glowing, white, pale chin with no stubble, freshly shaved, and it just didn't match up. Like, to me, if you're going to have this dark and gritty tone, I feel like Batman should also be dark and gritty. But instead, when you get the mask taken off, when you get the cowl, rather, taken off, what do you have? You have an emo-looking Batman. And I think it's hilarious that so many people are getting triggered by this. Go ahead, guys. Go over to Nerdrotic's channel. It should be on Nerdrotic Live, actually. And go watch Gary's review of the Batman trailer. He is getting crucified in the like to dislike ratio and in the comments section, and it's all over his opinion. It's all because he had a critical thought. This dude has been reading the comic and has been a fan of the comic for decades. So this guy knows his stuff. He knows Batman, and what he saw in the trailer did not match up with the image that he had. There's some things that he liked, but for the most part, he had issues. And you can agree or disagree with him, but the fact that people were just going after him for his opinion, it was ridiculous. And he made a lot of really good points. And also the fact that people are getting triggered because people are calling out this image of Robert Pattinson as looking like emo is just so ridiculous too. I remember someone on Twitter was basically whining and complaining, saying like, don't call it emo, you don't even know what you're talking about, meh. And I'm like, you're saying that we can't have an opinion? Are you saying that people can't have this opinion? And in your mind, if anyone is critical of anything DC related, that somehow makes them a hater? That's ridiculous. People can be critical of the property. Because that's why I think I'm glad that I've never been into the Marvel comic universe, and I've never been into the DC comic universe either. I was never a part of the comics. But because of that, I'm able to look at these movies and these properties of adaptations of the comics with more of an open mind, because I don't have these other images in my head. I don't have these other thoughts about, okay, this is what it should be, this is what it shouldn't be. And so it allows me to look at it more so from a film perspective. That doesn't mean that I'm perfect. That doesn't mean that I'm the end-all be-all of opinions, but I think it does mean that I'm able to not have these rose-tinted glasses, because if we know anything, and again, I'm not trying to throw shade, but I'm sorry, there are a lot of DCEU fanboys and fangirls out there that have rose-tinted glasses with anything that has to do with DC or Zack Snyder. And if you say a single bad word about it, it's, oh, F you, man, F this, F that. You're stupid. You don't know what you're talking about. You're not a real fan. And I'm over here like, it's an opinion. I have an opinion. And any criticisms that I bring up, I try and keep it more so viewed in the objective sense. And that's why when I mentioned the chin thing, that to me is a subjective view. That to me is saying, hey, I just think the chin looks weird. It just rubs me the wrong way. And I think it's because of an objective reality of the really white, pale skin and the white, clean-shaven skin is just not matching the dark and gritty tone of the movie. Again, whether it bothers you or not, that's totally up to you. But I do think it is an issue. I do think it's something that might need to be addressed overall. But also, yeah, he does look emo. I don't care what you think. Emo, right? If you look up emo culture, what is it? It's eye makeup and it's hair, right? And he's got both of those things. Now, whether or not you have a problem with it, that's up to you. But for anyone to say it's not emo, I'm sorry, but what would you define emo as far as a look is concerned? Because last I checked, eye makeup and dark hair that's in your face is kind of like, hey, these are key signs of the emo culture. Again, that's just me. So overall, I enjoyed and it may not seem like this, but overall, I actually enjoyed the trailer. I thought there was a lot of really good things about it. I think, for example, I didn't hate, like Gary hated, I didn't hate his voice. I thought his voice was fine. I thought the I'm Vengeance line worked pretty well. Again, for what it is. I'm also someone that from the very beginning has been on the side of Robert Pattinson. I'm one of the persons that said, I think he's a good actor. I've seen him do other movies, and I know that he has, I know he's got the acting chops to do almost anything. At the same time, people that are being critical of the fact that he is not big, is not menacing at all, and that bothers them for what they perceive Batman to be, which everything we ever see in the comics is always him being beefy and huge. And even though we could say that this is obviously a different take, a different interpretation, and you can argue that point, I think people being critical of him being really skinny is a valid thing. Now, at the same time, I don't think the fact that he didn't work out as much or that he didn't gain 70 pounds to do the role, I don't have a problem with that nearly as much. Because not everyone can be like Christian Bale and put on and take off weight for roles. There's a reason why Christian Bale has said on record he's not doing it anymore, because it's not healthy. It's not good to have that type of weight fluctuation over a period of time. And so that's why I respect Pattinson's decision to not go that route. However, to me, then it puts more of an onus on the production design team, the costume design team, and everyone behind the camera to at least make him look more menacing. Because right now he just looks like an emo teenager. And if that triggers you, I'm sorry, but that's an opinion. It's based off of actual imagery that we've seen so far. And I think it's something that it's a valid criticism to have. Now, if you enjoyed it and you loved it and you had no issues with it, great, awesome. But don't put the rose-tinted glasses on and think that it's perfect, because it's not. But anyway, those are my thoughts overall on the trailer. I'm sure all of you have your own thoughts on the trailer as well. But please make sure you smash that like button. We have 65 people still watching, and I'm sure I just triggered a bunch of people. Probably the same people that went after Gary. But anyway, at 7:04, Father Christopher Miller, who's a member of the channel, says Schumer an asshat. I'd have you look up what Senator Al D'Amato called him when Schumer ran against him. Let's just say he got in trouble. Let's say it was a Yiddish insult. Oh, yeah, I would never say that about someone. Nathan Slay, tagged to 704. Hey, man, sorry I didn't show up at all last week. I was in Myrtle Beach. Well, hopefully you enjoyed your vacation. Robert Fraze in the chat, how is it going? Graham Mastiota, tagged to 705. Can't wait to see Tenet tomorrow. First time to theater in God knows how long. Hope you enjoy the time. Dr. Richard Kimball, what's going on? How is it going? He indeed likes the bald head and says, I need an eye patch. Well, hey, okay. I like to be able to see the chat. If you thought that I couldn't follow the chat beforehand or that I struggled to keep up with things beforehand, imagine my depth perception being gone because I have one eye. That would not be good at all. Orange Hat Reviews, Orange Hat Reviews, who is a member of the channel 705, says, Odin, I said to a blue checkmark that their flawed comparison to the U.S. versus Germany was the R word. I was using the definition to hold back or to hinder, but they got to offended ignorance, I tell you. Well, I will say this much, Orange Hat. I totally see where you're coming from. I don't use that word personally. That's just, again, that's my own choice. I don't think that we should police other people for using language like that. But at the same time, I would never let my students say that. I would immediately correct them. And I think the reason why is because we do live in an era, and again, we could talk about, people being overly sensitive, but I think that there are also people now that either have family members that are mentally challenged, or they themselves could be mentally challenged and are more aware of those words. And so to me, it's a word that I don't like to use just in general because I know that there are negative connotations with it, right? And that's not me trying to tell you how to speak or how not to speak. But I can see, again, I'm not defending them necessarily, but I can see why that could get you in trouble in today's world and today's culture. Because that's considered a no-no word by most people. Now, whether it should be or not, I think that's a matter of opinion, but I can see why. HyperX13706 tagged and says, I watched Blood Diamond the other day. I can understand why some draw parallels between it and District 9, but in my opinion, they're both good on their own ways and their own stories. I don't think they're the same at all. I mean, just because they're set in, South Africa? They're different. District 9 is an alien movie, and Blood Diamond is dealing with something else entirely. I mean, you can find similarities in almost any movie if you look hard enough, but I don't think there's direct parallels between those films at all, other than them being in the same location. That's just my thing. I have never heard of anyone comparing those two films because they're very different genres. Bruce, who's a member, says, all this anti-Snyder talk, I don't even know you people. It's not anti-Snyder. It's being critical and having valid criticisms of his work. I'm sorry, man, but he's style over substance. Look at his films. Actually study his films. If you like it, great. That's fine. That's fine. But I'm sorry. He's style over substance. Nathan Slay, 707. I know they aren't the greatest movies ever, but I love the first two Lethal Weapon movies. I think they're damn entertaining. Damn good movies. Andrew Hoyle, who's a member of 708. Monsoon style rain here in Manchester, UK. No, not monsoon style. Well, I'm glad that it did not, or hopefully it does not affect your movie-going experience. Waiting for the drag, Laura says, Hurricane Laura is headed to Texas. Sorry, Texas. No. Yeah, I haven't been following it recently. I know at one point it was going to Louisiana, and then it was in between Louisiana and Texas, so I guess now it's going straight to Texas. So I have not seen it myself. Let's see. It's a Trap Productions at 708 says, my lord, may I email you or DM you? I finally want to get in on going on that animation I've always talked about and have some ideas I'd like to discuss with you. Go right ahead, dude. Yeah. If you ever want to DM me or email me, please feel free. That goes for anybody. My DMs are open on Twitter, and my email is open as well. Now, whether I can respond to you or how I can respond to you, that's going to depend on what's going on. It's going to depend on the time of day. It's going to depend on whether it was a busy day or not a busy day. And also, of course, if I'm reading a novel or if it's a simple question, because there have been people that have sent me novels, and it's like, okay, look, I'm gonna try my best to read it, but I've got other things going on, and I can't spend this time reading a novel and a rant. Oh, man. But yes, absolutely, man. I know that you're probably not going to send me one of those. Nathan Slade 709, are you going to see Unhinged at all? I think so, to be honest. And I know I've been joking about it, but I think just out of love for Tina, I have to go see it. Because we've been joking about it behind the scenes and on air so much, it's like I just feel like I'm obliged to see it now, just so that I can keep on bringing it up. Because I know Tina loves when I bring up that movie. Bruce's member says, the Batman trailer wasn't bad. No, it wasn't. It was not bad. It wasn't. And again, I think Gary's opinion of it is totally valid. I think all of his criticisms are valid. But for me, subjectively, I enjoyed it for the most part. But I do have criticisms, as I've mentioned previously. Balan to Hobbit, how's it going? How's it going? CW Trixie. Father Christopher Miller, who's a member, 709. Marcus Theaters in Lincoln do not have a showing of Bill and Ted this weekend. No. Yeah, I have not checked because most theaters will have their showtimes up usually Tuesday around 4 p.m. or so. Some of them maybe not until the afternoon on Wednesday. I have not checked my local theater yet to see if we're getting Bill and Ted either, because obviously my main focus is New Mutants on Thursday. And then if I have time over the weekend, I would love to see Bill and Ted 3, because that's one that I've actually been looking forward to. Eric K is a member, tagged me and says, Hail Odin, hail to you, Eric K. Hope you are doing well. Thank you again for being a member. Bruce is a member at 710 says, sorry, but he can only play a Brit, right? Isn't that how it goes now? No, he could play other people. Slicer at 710 tagged and says, is Netflix irredeemable? I thoroughly enjoy stuff like glitch text, but so many other things are agenda driven. And of course, the recent disturbing content left very conflicted. Slicer, man, it really is going to be a personal decision. You know, I don't think anyone's despicable if they have a Netflix subscription. I mean, that's a terrible position to take. You know, I'm not going to say, oh, you're a terrible person if you have a Netflix subscription. I think that if you are aware of the film Cuties and you defend it, then I think you're despicable, right? If you are defending the movie, that is disgusting. If you are doing things like that, well, then I'm going to call you out. But if you have a Netflix subscription because you like other stuff on there, I'm not going to go after you for that. My wife will not let me cancel the Netflix subscription. Happy wife has a happy life. And if anyone's like, you need to take control, you need to be the man of the house, I'm going to say, yeah, you try telling that to a woman who's 34 weeks pregnant. I dare you. I'm not going to do that. No chance. So yeah, man, Slicer, man, if you have it and you're happy with the content you're watching, that's totally your call. I think that anyone that is canceling their account has total legitimate reasons to do so. I think Netflix does need to be called out publicly, which is why I've called them out several times over that nonsense. And I'm so glad to see the dislikes on that damn trailer are like well over, I think, 1 million now? I think someone made a video saying it finally reached 1 million dislikes, and I hope they cancel it. I really do. And I hope people get called out. I hope there's investigations because I think it needs to be looked into. So yeah, you can still do all of those things though and still be able to enjoy your Netflix subscription. Because if we get to that point of view, then at that point, any company that's ever had any problems, that's ever done anything questionable, you can't buy from. And then your options become very, very limited, you know? And so I think that's a dangerous road to go down. Nathan Slay, tagged at 710. I cannot believe New Mutants will still be released. Nobody wants to watch it. I want to watch it because I want to see if it's real. Like, I think the only people left are either the old people that were young once, right? The young people that wanted to see it who are now old because that's how long this movie has been in post-production hell. And the second group of people are people like me who just want to see if this damn movie exists. So there are people, but not in the way that you normally would think. Oh, Lord. Andrew Hoyle at 712 says, don't worry, I won't spoil Tenet. I'm not that kind of guy. I think I'll need to watch it more than once so I can understand just what the heck is going on. Andrew Hoyle, good shout, man. Yeah, I think that's a totally good, valid reason, because anything, especially lately with Christopher Nolan, is usually worth a second watch. You know, even going to things like Dunkirk, which to me are not one of the best things he's ever done, is something where if you go and watch it a second time, knowing how the plots line up in the end makes the film more enjoyable. And obviously there's other films like Interstellar, which are just so smart and mind-driven, where it's like, I have to see it again because there's just so much stuff going on. And then there's movies like Inception, which it starts off saying, oh, the more I'm watching it, the more I'm loving it. And then over time, you realize, oh no, this is actually, it's having the opposite effect now because I'm noticing more problems and more holes. And now it's all, it's falling apart. Bruce at 712 says, our mayor said the cops, my son was one of the cops, would arrest the people that didn't lawfully protect. Would arrest the people that didn't lawfully protect. That does not make any sense, Bruce. So I don't know what you were trying to say, because that sentence did not make sense to me. But yeah, I mean, as far as the video goes that we were watching from Louisville, the cops were doing everything they were supposed to, and there was one situation where they were filming, and this one girl started to resist. And then she started to whine and complain. And then the people that were in her group were also starting to yell too. And it's like, we can see clearly on this video that she is trying to move her hands as they are trying to arrest her. That is resisting arrest. And I'm sorry, but seeing what cops go through and seeing what can happen if that is not taken care of and is not stopped, cops got to protect themselves too. You know, and I'm not saying that there aren't bad cops out there that do too much, because obviously that does happen, but most don't. Most are doing everything that they're supposed to do, and most of them are doing everything that they possibly can to keep not only the person that's being arrested safe, but also themselves safe too. Because, man, their safety is also important in this matter. Edgardo Martinez, thank you very much for becoming a member at the Citizen of Asgard level. I appreciate it very, very much so. All right, so it looks like the chat has jumped on me once again. Hopefully everyone is doing very well. Let us see here. Let's see. All right, so it's 7:13 in the YouTube chat, so it looks like some comments may have been skipped. So again, it looks like between 7:11 and 7:13, maybe a comment or two may have been skipped. But I'm starting off with Nathan Slay's comment at 7:13 after I get caught up with my D-Laugh fam. How's it going, D-Laugh fam? I love you so very much. Captain Mr. Peabody says, I get hair in my face all the time. That's because I need a haircut. Yes, that is true, Peabody. But that's why your evil twin, who has that long, flowing, beautiful hair, also needs a haircut as well. Also, he didn't tag me, but I just love seeing this. Odin has an opinion? That's pretty much what was happening with Gary's video. Gary has an opinion? No! He has to love everything DC movie related. Oh my gosh. Captain Peabody, have already told you, unhinged, don't bust a gut trying to see it. It's okay when you're up late and there's nothing else on. I still gotta see it. I still got to see it, Peabody, not for the reasons that most people usually need to see movies. And then says, you will love Unhinged because I didn't like it. That's usually how it goes, Peabody. That's usually how it goes. Oh, man, oh, man. And then Peabody says, 34 weeks, 6 weeks, brace yourself. Yeah, pretty much. 6 weeks or less. It could be actually more, it could be less. Right now we're about a week or so away, like a week or two away from any time it could happen, and baby will be healthy. So, but anyway, D-Laugh fam, thank you all so very much for being here again. All right, so picking back up with Nathan Slay at 7:13, who tagged me and says, what's the best Keanu Reeves movie? Do you mean best or favorite? Because those are two very different qualifications. Because as far as best goes, I would say objectively, like point for point, Point Break is probably the best movie that he's in. But that's not necessarily my favorite. I love the John Wick franchise. To me, those are the best action films he's in. I would say they're much better action films than the Matrix trilogy, especially now in the wake of this nonsense of them trying to rewrite their own history. But even before, I think, for me, John Wick's just more enjoyable. I like the lore that they build. And obviously, when you look to the Matrix, the first one's fantastic. And then the second two, not so much, versus the John Wick movies where the first one's great. The second one has great story with still some pretty cool action. And then the third one's just badass action fight scenes with some good story. But the first one's still the best, obviously. Hardwick713 says, since Battinson said I'm vengeance in the trailer, I wonder if he will deliver the rest of the iconic line from the animated series, I am vengeance, I am the night, I am Batman. It could be. based on what I saw, it didn't look like he was about to say anything else. But I mean, I suppose that could happen at some point. Yeah, it's really hard to say. I don't know if they're trying to pay too much homages to the animated series, more than they would be trying to give homage to what looks to be the graphic novel that it's based off of, or the comic series it's based off. Again, I don't know this stuff. Nana Raper, as a member, says, are you people talking about hurricanes? I have rode out 23 in a container ship. Emo Bat Boy is just weak. Damn, son. Nana Reaper calling the shots. 23 hurricanes in a container ship? That sounds terrifying. Nathan Slay, tagged at 715. I fear that the Batman might be killing people again. I hope not. Not based on what we saw. Maybe, beat to a pulp? Sure. Not really any indication that he's going to be killing. Tommy the Guinea Pig Collective, tagged at 17. He is not an emo Batman. He is a Hot Topic Batman. Okay. At first I was like, oh boy, where's this going? But yeah, Hot Topic Batman. I think that's a fair criticism. Hardwick says, I thought the Gary's bat voice in his video was better than Pattinson's. Well, again, I think that, obviously Gary wants to have that more deeper guttural sound, but for what he did and for what Pattinson normally sounds like, I thought it was fine. Tina 716 tagged. Yeah, I saw Gary get smashed for his opinion about the Batman trailer. My main issue was that I wish the lead actor looked like a real man, like men I enjoy seeing. Yeah, so Tina is over here saying, gosh, if only Jason Momoa was in the Batsuit, then I'd be happy. Which, hey, not gonna lie, him as buff as he is, hell, why not? Hell, make him Batman. Yeah, he doesn't look like any of the Batmans from the comics or from history, but you know what? Some people would say, and that's, I think, kind of like that middle ground, is some people are so obsessed with the look, where it's like, okay, well, do you want him to be buff or do you want him to look like Batman? Because sometimes you can have one or the other and not both. There obviously are people you can bring up and say, well, Henry Cavill, had he not been Superman, may have been able to handle Batman fine. After seeing him in The Witcher and the voice he did for The Witcher, I actually see it more now than ever before. But yeah, again, sometimes I think acting wise he'll do fine. 13th Warrior at 717 says, you are behind the times. There is now a meta-narrative which must not be criticized. The woke philosophy has overturned the chessboard and declared itself the winner. That's deep. Robert Frey, Eric K at 717 tagged and is also a member. He says, I did not like about it is Bat Meth Head. He looks like someone strung out in an alley. Not someone who is not only a world-class athlete, but definitely not the most eligible bachelor in Gotham. Yeah, no, I think that's also a fair criticism. I think that's one of Gary's points that he had, was that it looked like he was coming off a bender, right? It looked like that's how skinny he looked. And that's why for me, I'm not going to, go down the route of, oh, he should have worked out. He should have done, gained 70 pounds. But at the same time, if you're going to present him in the movie as being this strong badass that can beat people to a pulp, then you need to have muscles to back that up. That's just logic. If you're going to have it be where he's not just beating people to a pulp, but he's using speed and efficiency and stuff like that, okay, well, then the smaller frame is going to work much better. But based on the trailer, it looks like they're still trying to have him be this guy that can beat someone to a pulp. And it's like, if I'm going to have issues with Infant's Nest in, what was it, Solo? Isn't that where she was in? I don't even remember. The Star Wars movies and, the Disney Star Wars films all just blend together for me now. But if I'm going to be critical of the fact they had a 16-year-old girl beating up, big men who could easily in real life beat up someone of her frame and of her size, I have to also be critical of this too, if that's how they're going to present it. So before the trailer, I said, okay, what if they take this in a different direction, the smaller size and frame could work, even if it's not the way that you're used to Batman being. But it doesn't look like they're doing that, and I think that might cause some issues when the full movie comes out. Bruce at 717 says, but it's just the blackout makeup around his eyes. That's all almost Batman's had. I think the own one since color TV came in play who didn't was Adam West. No. Every Batman has done that, but to show it in that way is something that normally isn't shown. And I made this point in a tweet where you can actually date it to, and there's probably other films where they can find examples of this too, but the one I can think of that I always remembered was 97's Batman and Robin. Terrible movie, but there's a part when they're healing Alfred where you can see there looks like dirt across all three of their eyes, especially Alicia Silverstone as you know, I was going to say Batgirl, Batwoman. I honestly don't even remember. I think she was supposed to be Batgirl, because at this point, it's like, no, they weren't. None of them were the characters that they were portraying, because it was just that bad of a movie. But so you have that being shown there. But again, the reason why I'm saying emo in that instance is because it's caked on there. You are seeing him and his face with his pale, clean, shaved chin, and also the hair in his eyes. Again, does that mean that he is emo? No. But does it look like your stereotypical emo image? Yes. Now that's a fact. Whether it bothers you or not, that's your opinion. But hair in the face, black eyeliner and eye makeup, that is stereotypical emo look fashion. Period. And stop. Sardonic Sunshine, welcome to the chat. Glad to see you here. Let's see. Nana Raper, who is a member at 718, says, I always thought Ben Affleck did the best Batman as far as the character's appearance. Yeah, for me, I was excited for Ben Affleck, and then I just didn't like the rendition because I'm not a fan of Zack Snyder's work, and I don't think the version that we got was good for me. As far as his look in the costume goes, yeah, I mean, he looked like a badass, but for me, this is my opinion, I've enjoyed the Christian Bale Batman more so than other versions of Batman. As far as live action goes, we're talking about of all time, I obviously am very much still attached to the animated series version of Batman, for sure. General Wingster, how's it going? Welcome to my madhouse. Haven't seen you in the chat for a long time, good sir. Says, we already know the Batman movie will suck because I am not in it. Maybe. I mean, there are those guys that look kind of like they were wearing Joker makeup, so what's going on with that? Cobra Viber 999 says, Colin Farrell looked unrecognizable in the trailer as Penguin. Yeah, talk about something that I liked. They didn't show a whole lot of Colin Farrell's Penguin, but what we did see was amazing. Like the kudos to the makeup team. Kudos to the makeup and hairstyling team on that movie, because for that character, knocked it out of the park. Didn't look like Colin Farrell, but also didn't look like Colin Farrell just caked in makeup either. Like, it looked very legitimate, and so I'm very happy. Very, very happy with that. Hypernex13719 says, Mr. Dickovich would hate having an emo Peter and an emo Battinson as his roommates. Give me rent! Yes, seriously. Could you imagine? Could you imagine it? Nano Reaper at 720 says, especially since Pattinson refused to even work out for the part. No. Nano Reaper. Okay. As I've said, I can be critical, and we can all be critical of the fact that they're trying to go with him being the badass that can beat people up and not have him be bigger. However, I do respect Pattinson's decision to not work out like crazy. That does not mean Pattinson did not work out. Read the interview again. All right? This is what people are not doing. All right? Because I don't know what channels spun this narrative, because it's just not true. If you read the interview, he says, during quarantine, I haven't really been working out. And then he says, for the role, I haven't worked out that much. You know, that's what he says. And if people want exact quotes, he says, well, he actually said, I don't really do much of anything. But you do realize when you say, I don't do much of anything, it means you still do something. So he has worked out for the part. No, he has not done the Christian Bale routine. No, he hasn't even gone as far as what you've seen from the woman playing Catwoman, who's apparently working out 5 times a week. He said, that is not something I want to do. He says that's a part of the problem. And I think his mindset on that is a legitimate concern to have, because it's not healthy to be going workout crazy like that just for a part. Now, if you want to do it and you choose to do it, hey, that's your choice. He chose not to. So I'm not going to criticize him for that. And also, it has to be clear, he did not refuse to work out. All right, he refused to gain 50 pounds. Yes, but that is a totally legitimate thing to say no to. I'm sorry. Health is important too. Eric K, who's a member at 720. What about the bat symbol in the middle of his chest? Is the guns who killed his parents? Guess went and stole that from the police crime lab. No weapon, no conviction. Yeah, seriously, Eric K, that's also a good criticism. There's part of it that I think is badass, right? Oh man, those are the weapons that killed his parents right on his chest. That's deep. But then at the same time, you think about it logically and like, wait a minute, how would he get those guns? You know, that would be evidence, right? General Wingster at 720 tagged me and says, Odin, I didn't know you were into emos. I'm not. I'm actually not. Hardwick says, the editor of Spider-Man 3 revealed that they didn't intend Peter to look emo. His haircut was modeled after Adolf's to imply that the symbiote was making him a pseudo-fascist, but that's not what happened. Doesn't matter what the editor says, doesn't matter what the editor talks about, doesn't matter what the editor thinks, because all that matters is what actually happened. And what happened is that Peter Parker in Spider-Man 3 was a stereotypical emo-looking person. I was going to say something else, but I had to censor myself. Dion, what's going on, man? 13th Warrior tagged to 721. I'm triggered. I identify as emo boomer. Glinzer, what's going on, Glinzer? I feel like it's been a while since I've seen you in the live chat. 721 says, I think Pattinson was picked to cater to the rabid army of female Twilight fans. Could be. It could have also been the fact that he is a good actor. Sorry. If you don't like that, too bad. He's a good actor. Again, you have to look at his other roles outside of Twilight. I would recommend The Lighthouse because he's fantastic in it. Let's see. What do we live? Andrew Hoyle, almost missed your comment. It was in between some others. He's a member at 721. Says, I have a feeling that because this is year 2, the look of Pattinson's Batman and how scrawny he is intentional to set him to have bulk him up for future films after his learning curve from this one. Andrew Hoyle, you would think that, but as I mentioned, Pattinson has made it clear that he doesn't want to put on crazy weight for the role. And I think it's for any role, for that matter, because when you look at Pattinson, he has not done any crazy weight stuff. He's been the same size for almost every role that he's ever done. So I think that that's very consistent with him as an actor, where he does it for the performance and he doesn't do roles or choose roles to go crazy with the body transformations. Again, I think I keep saying Christopher. I think Christian Bale is an amazing actor. And I think the fact that he was able to and willing to go through those transformations to be able to give a more authentic performance, I think that's commendable. Do I think that should be the norm? Hell no, because there's a lot of health risks that come with that, and it can be very dangerous. And so Pattinson, I think, making this decision is totally reasonable for him to do so, but it also means that no. And I've seen that excuse being used before. Everyone's like, oh, this is just year 2. This is just year 2. This is just year 2. And it's like, I'm sorry, but if you actually look to the way in which Batman has been portrayed, I don't think I can remember, and again, I'm not a comics expert here, but no rendition I've ever seen, even in the graphic novels where I've seen some panels from, have ever shown him being skinny. All right? So even that argument really does not hold up to scrutiny when you actually look to source material. All right. Again, you can use it as an excuse. I don't necessarily think it's a good one if they're still trying to portray him as a physical badass. If they're trying to portray him as a quick, smart detective, sure, it can work. But in that trailer, when he's beating that dude up, they're trying to go for that too, and it doesn't work nearly as much. Nathan Slade tagged to 722. I didn't have a problem with Robert Pattinson's Bruce Wayne look at first. Then you said he was emo, and I immediately thought the emo Parker. Yeah, seriously. It's once you see it, it's hard to unsee. Nana Reaper at 722, who's a member, says, blue check marks on Twitter are mentally challenged. This is true. This is true. And thank you very much for using a word that I can say out loud. Nathan Slade, what's the greatest animated movie of all time to you? Nathan Slay, you always ask me these questions. It's always of all time, top 5, top 10. Dude, I've told it before. I'm telling it again. I don't like answering those questions on the spot, dude. Because there are so many films, so many animated films. I can't just pick one random one off the top of my head. So I'm not going to answer that one. Out of principle. Nana Reaper at 725, who's a member, says, District 9 is sci-fi. Blood Diamond is piece of historical fiction aimed at the character assassination of Evan Barlow while trying to prop up the UN. Yes, very, very different movies. Very, very, very different. Let us see. Where is everybody? I saw someone I think it was a Captain Wingster or General Wingster. Sorry, you've been updated to General. He was like, I'm gonna slide into his DMs. Yeah, don't do that. Nathan Slade tagged at 726. It really sucks for me that the theaters in Maryland are still closed. We are very slow to moving into phase 3. Well, we can look to the leadership in your state, and that explains a little bit more. General Wingster tagging says, Gary's just an old man. He doesn't understand what the kids are into these days. No, only I can make fun of him for being a boomer, okay, even though he's not. Only I can make fun of him for that, all right? And no, that's not the reason. That's not the reason why. Grandmaster Yoda, 727 tag says, can't find out how much Old Mutants cost to make, but with the CV-19 and all the remaking, it is doomed at the box office. I'm not going to go into the remaking. Like, it doesn't matter what the budget is. It doesn't matter how much it costs to make or how long or how much money they've put into the film since then, because it was already essentially doomed because of the state of the box office. Every movie that's going to be coming out this year is doomed to not make profit. Doesn't mean all of them are gonna be profitless. That's not a good word. It doesn't mean all of them are not gonna make any profit. It does mean you're gonna see a much larger percentage of films not make their money back than you normally would. But also, we're in a time where it's gonna be a lot harder to keep track of this because there are so many different various revenue streams that are gonna be harder to track. Nathan Slade Tag says, you have to decide for yourself, is the Batman trailer good or bat? I see what you did there. Orange Hat Reviews at 728 says, that would be a suicidal mission. Context trying to be controlling of a pregnant wife. I think there's something that makes that taboo for Catholics. I'm pretty sure that's something that should be taboo for anyone that's ever had a pregnant wife. 728 Andrew Hoyle, who's a member. Robert Pattinson has appropriated American culture by doing an accent and claiming to be from Gotham City. Cancel him immediately. Exactly, Andrew. Exactly. Hybrid X13 at 729. Yeah, I never understood the comparisons between Blood Diamond and District 9. Maybe it's because Danny Archer helping Solomon and his son parallels Wilkes helping Christopher and his son. What? No. That's mental. That's what it is. That's mental, dude. Thanatos Felisa 729. How long has New Mutants been in development hell? Well, I want to say the original release date was supposed to be back in 2018. It's 2020. So, yeah, the film's been done for a while now. It's been done for a very long time. Lordy. Nick Stream at 730 is a member. He says, Cuties, I read somewhere that the defense of the movie is that the message is actually exactly the opposite of what we think it is. It's saying exploiting kids in dance competitions is bad. Yeah, that's the defense that's being brought up. However, you don't do that by then exploiting little children. So even if that was the message of the movie, the fact is that they are still exploiting children by having them in the movie and having them dressed scantily clad, and then freaking Netflix making that damn poster, which is based off of their outfits in the movie itself, which means that anything that they try to get done in that movie has already epically failed because they've done exactly what it is that they claim to be fighting against. Yeah, I've heard that argument before, and it's a really bad one. It's something that creepy people like Scott Mendelson try to use as an argument to defend it. Orange Hat 730 says, Odin, small deviation. Have you ever seen the movie Transcendence with Johnny Depp? Yep, and it's terrible. And it makes me very sad because I believe that was directed by Wally Feister, and Wally Feister is a fantastic cinematographer. And I was so excited for that movie because he worked with Nolan a lot. And sadly, he's not a good director. Apparently, I don't think he's done anything since, at least nothing major. Nathan Slade Tide, I'm sorry to the people who loved Inception, but it's not a masterpiece. It's one film that's very well done. Objectively, all the craftsmanship is there. The writing, though, and that to me is always the crux. That's always the weakness of any Nolan movie, is that sometimes the writing is not there. Dark Knight Rises' biggest problem is the writing. The acting's fine. And by that, I mean, most of it's great, except for Talia al Ghul and her damn death at the end. I don't know who in the hell's decision that was, because either it was the actress who was told to do that by the director, which means it's Nolan's fault, or the actress decided to do it on her own, and Nolan saw it, and Nolan kept that take in the movie, which means, guess what? It's still Nolan's fault. So, yeah, Nolan is great, but he's not perfect. He's definitely not a perfect director. Lordy. All right, looks like the chat's about to jump on me once again. So thank you all so very much for being here. Again, I usually follow about 20 minutes behind in the chat or so. So thank you very much for your patience. It's 7:34 in the chat, so some comments may have been skipped, but it is not my fault. But anyway, let's jump back over to my D-La fam. Let's see. Will Gentry over there. What's going on, Will? He says, it's suspension of disbelief. As long as the action is convincing, I don't need them to be ripped like Thor. Bruce Lee was never huge. Will Gentry, great point. Great point. And I think that's the problem that a lot of us are having, is that based on what we're seeing, it doesn't look like they're trying to make him look any bigger than he actually is. And so that makes it harder to suspend your belief, right? And so I think that's a fair point, Will. Captain Mr. Peabody isn't always the heaviest person that is the strongest, so it makes sense. Again, not necessarily the heaviest is the strongest, but if you have someone that is 400 pounds and doesn't work out all the time, but is still 400 pounds, and then you put that person up against a 90-pound person who works out constantly, the chances of the smaller person winning in an arm wrestling contest are not nearly as great as you would think, because it's not just about muscle, it's also about mass too in certain instances. So yeah. Let's see. All right, cool. Is everybody on D-Live. So again, D-Live fam, you're great. At 7:34, Aegis Rap Productions tag me and says, what will be the baby's code name? Thor, Loki, Baldur. I don't know if it was already discussed. Yes, his code name will be Baby Thor. So on the channel, he will be forever known as Baby Thor. Andrew Hoyle is a member at 7:34. Plus, the third John Wick had those badass dogs. Yes, it did. And also, I will say this much. It actually was a movie that featured... oh my gosh. This is how much I'm actually not a big fan of hers, because I can't even remember her name. I normally just try and block it out from my mind completely, because Halle Berry. So Halle Berry, who's not a good actress at all, was actually good in the movie. And she actually worked with the dogs and did the training with them to have the dogs trust her and listen to her commands. That's awesome. Not to mention, she actually went to the gun range and trained to use firearms. There's great videos of her and Keanu Reeves doing different sets and doing different drills at the gun range. That's badass. That's awesome. So yeah, my respect for her went up tenfold because of that one movie alone. Nathan Slade 7:30 says, personally, I've always loved Speed. Is Point Break actually a good movie? I thought that there was bad acting in it. Point Break's great. I love Point Break. 13th Warrior, it was a small part, but I like Keanu in Parenthood. I actually have not seen Parenthood, so I cannot speak to that personally. Father Christopher Miller says, going to head out as the buffering is bad for me. Keep my home state of Iowa in prayer. It had Category 2 to 3 wins, 110 miles an hour 2 weeks ago. Sister just got power after 2 weeks, but Iowa's flyover state. Wait, what? How did y'all have 110 mile an hour winds? Is it just like thunderstorms coming through? Is that, I guess, would that be a part of Hurricane Alley? I actually don't know. Oh, I made Tina excited. She's like, Jason Momoa is Batman. I'm there. I knew that would get her excited. Edgardo Martinez, 737 is a member. Thoughts on Enola Holmes trailer? So many doubts. I actually haven't seen the trailer, but I heard about the premise, and I don't care much for it. Don't care much for it. Tired of the gender swapping. Andrew Hoy was a 737 member, but would Momoa cut his hair and shave to be Bruce Wayne? No, he wouldn't. And that's why I said you would have the body type, but you might not have the other look. And I think that could actually be hilarious to see his long hair sticking out of the cowl and him not changing his voice, but looking the part and then being like, hey, yeah, look, he looks like Batman. Isn't that what you care about? He has the body type for it. No, he's not, because he needs this too. You can't have everything sometimes. You can't have it all. So you got to make compromises. But there is a limit. Hypernex 13739, the thing that blows my mind is that there's a swole king shark and a fat king shark. I got so confused there were 2 Suicide Squad trailers in one day. I haven't seen the second one. I saw one, or at least I saw it was like the sizzle reel or whatever it was. Yeah, King Shark didn't look bad. The CG actually looked pretty passable. And that goes out to anyone that says, oh, you're so critical of CGI, and oh, it's a trailer, it's not done yet. Then why does the CGI for King Shark look better than a lot of the CG I've seen in Snyder Cut? Speaking of which, Snyder Cut, let me give my thoughts on that. It is a CGI mess. Could the story be better than the original? Sure. Do I care? Not really. Because, as I said, I'm not a Snyder fan. I thought Man of Steel was fine. It's the best thing that Snyder, I think, has ever done. It's the one that I think stands time more. But there's a lot of problems with it. Especially story. Dear Lord, the story issues with that damn movie. So much that they had to retcon part of the story in a later movie. And it still didn't work because we still have the movie that you can't retcon because of what we see. Specifically, downtown being destroyed and no life being lost. But, oh, wait, it was emptied of all people because... no, shut up. Please stop. But with that being said, with that being the case, I think the movie overall just looks like green screen nonstop. And I think that's a problem. When you look to some of the great filmmakers that are still working today, Tarantino, Nolan, they only use CGI when they have to. They only use it when it's absolutely necessary. And I feel that Snyder only ever uses CGI and green screen. Go back to all of his famous movies. And I think the one that kind of got him on the map as far as comic book fans are concerned would be 300. And you go back to the movie, and that's why for me it does not age well, because it's just all green screen. It's all green screen and CGI, and it doesn't look good. It looks so fake. And that's exactly what we had with the Snyder Cut trailer. It all looks so damn fake. And again, if you're a comic fan and you're seeing images on there that are very true to the comics and the framing is true to the comics, hey, if that makes you happy, great. But I'm sorry, I can't look past the fakeness of it. That's why I hate CGI, because sometimes it's so overused and green screen is so overused, it doesn't look real. And to me, it's a slap in the face of good filmmakers who don't need computers to make their movie, who don't need computer engineers to essentially make their entire film for them. So yeah, those are really my quick thoughts on it. I was not a fan of it. Not to mention, the song they used sucked. Not the song Hallelujah, the version they used sucked. Because the person singing it, I don't care if it's the original person or not, couldn't sing. Could not sing worth a damn. And so that was distracting me the entire time I was watching nonstop green screen CGI. It's what I like to call a CGI fest. Not a good thing. Oh, have I triggered you yet? Have I? 105 people watching. That's the most we've had in a while. Thank you for being here. Smash the like button. I think I may have just pissed off a bunch of people, though, for having an opinion, but that's okay, because the people that stay are the ones that I love. All right, anyway, getting back to the chat now. HyperNex13 at 740. Emo Battinson versus Emo Parker. Dawn of the Emos. Damn right. I'm sorry, man, but Bully McGuire could take on Emo Battinson any day. And if you know and understand that reference to Bully McGuire, you're one of the chosen. Dark Shadow Logan, what's going on, dude? Tagged at 740. Pattinson looks like a strung out emo Richard Perez from Crow City of Angels. Do a side by side. Yes, I think that would be a fair shout. He's not emo. Yes, he looks like emo. Doesn't matter if he is or not. The look matches up. Bruce says, "Oh, I remember the bat nipples." Yes, everyone remembers, Bruce. Everyone remembers. Harwick says, Pat Jenkins says they went out of their way to not make Wonder Woman 84 political. I'm skeptical due to how Trump-like Maxwell Lord looks. On the plus side, at least Cheetah's final form looks good. No. Oh, what are you talking about? Hardwick, what in the hell are you talking about, dude? The CGI for Cheetah is terrible. How could you possibly defend that? That is some of the worst CGI I've seen in years. That stuff looks like it was made 10 years ago. That's how bad it is. Yeah, if you're talking about the CGI Cheetah, bad take. That's not good CGI. It does not look good. And yeah, Patty Jenkins, this is the same person that also said in an interview that that character was inspired by Trump. Yeah, sure, they're not trying to be political. That sounds to me, if that is something that they actually, if that's something she actually said, that to me is her trying to save face because of her more recent interview. CW Trixie, emo man going to defeat all the villains just by being depressed. Damn right. Nathan Slay, you liked Batfleck until he said, Martha. Don't remind me of that. God. Still makes me frustrated. Orange Hour Reviews. 741 says, oh, and in my opinion, it shows consistency. The eyeliner scene, other previous movies show crisp, clean appearance after the cowl or mask came off. I think it's an objectively good thing in my opinion. Well, okay, you can't say that. If you say, I think it's an objectively good thing in my opinion, then that's opinion. Because if something's objectively good, it's objectively good. So just watch the way you word that. Because yeah, you can't have it both ways. But I see what you're trying to say. Again, there is a good quality to it. I think there's absolutely an objective good quality of consistency, because consistency is of an objectively good quality to have. Whether or not this fits that line, the way it's presented, hard to say. And I never said that it wasn't consistent. What I said was it didn't look good. The way that it's filmed, the way that it's shot. All right, let's see. What do we got? Venom Broly 93. What's going on, good sir? Tag me at 743. Pattinson would have been a better Batman Beyond as Terry McGinnis. Yeah, I heard someone say that, and that's true. Because Terry McGinnis, guess what? He's skinny. He's thinner. Works a little bit better. Eric K is a member at 745. Tagged me and says, Katie Sackhoff trains for every role, bulks up, gets leaner. I used to be able to bulk up quick if I wanted to. Yeah, I'm not saying that you can't do it, but I also think that it's totally legitimate for someone to not do it, because it can be very unhealthy, especially in the Hollywood atmosphere. Eric A says, remember, also Batman is supposed to be the smartest of all DC superheroes. Batman Sparkles does not convey that. Well, also, to be fair to that point, we haven't seen enough of it to know one way or the other. So that is kind of unfair to say right now. Latinos Land, hail chat, hail to you. Glad to see you here. Happy Dinosaur 8000, what's going on, Happy Dinosaur? Tagged me at 749. There have been skinny Batmans, just not as skinny as Bruce Wayne, though the only skinny Batman that comes to mind is Terry McGinnis from Batman Beyond. Yes, but that's Batman Beyond specific. So that's not really Batman. That's not Bruce Wayne. So I think you even said it right. There's not been a skinny Bruce Wayne Batman. I think that's the point, though, is he is Bruce Wayne. So that point still stands. Welcome to my Matt Has 70. The correct answer for best animated movie is anyone that I am in, like The Killing Joke or Under the Red Hood, etc. Of course you would say that. You're biased. Nathan Slade tagged, the only movies that will be profitable in 2020, the ones that cost $5 million to make. Pretty much, yeah. If you are a lower budget movie, you have a much better chance of making your money back. But even those movies, since they don't have nearly as much reach, probably might struggle too and might not make their money back either. Because talking about Unhinged is not a big budget movie, and it's so far only made around $4 million, which again, it's great for the market that we're in right now. But whether over time it'll be able to make it back up, hard to say. At least not at the box office. Bruce is a member. Just some random words strung together. Of course, Bruce. Of course. Soul Satin 753 says, fun fact about our boy Scotty, every time he says something woke or stupid, the more his hairline recedes and the creepier he gets. By the way, looks like Stephanie B's in the chat. Hail to you, Stephanie B. Thank you for being here. Dwayne Morris, thank you very much for the $2 super chat, says, Cheetah looks like Lady Gaga, and it doesn't look good, and it doesn't look pretty. Thank you, Dwayne Morris, man. I appreciate it. Let me jump back over, though, to my D-Laugh fam and make sure I'm caught up with them. Captain Mr. Roy, thank you very much for the 5 lemon donations. Captain Mr. Roy, thank you for the 5 ice cream donations. And Captain Mr. Roy, thank you for the diamond donations as well. And thank you all very much for taking care of the troll over on D-Live 2. You rock. As Captain Dean Heist now is, of course, dropping a bunch of ice creams. He dropped 5 ice creams. So thank you, Captain Dean Heist. I very much appreciate it, good sir. All right. Let me catch up with my YouTube fam. And so luckily, no comments were skipped this time, which is fantastic. As Bruce is saying, hey, girl, Stephanie B. Damn right. How's it going? Stephanie B.? Always glad to see my general here. Harburg75, as long as he has no shirtless scenes, Batman could be buff, even if the actor playing him isn't. Neil McDonough and Vincent D'Onofrio wore fake muscles to play Dum Dum Dugan and Kingpin. Vincent D'Onofrio? What are you talking about, fake muscles? His version of Kingpin was just a big guy. There were no muscle. I mean, again, if you mean he wore a fat suit, okay, that's something that I can buy. Muscles, though, I don't know what fake muscles you're talking about. And then obviously, yeah, Neil McDonough, but that was that was a very poor use of fake muscles. That looked really bad. So I don't think that's not a good shout in either case. But yeah, as I said, the actor does not have to be as big as the character looks because of movie magic. But they're not doing that, it seems. Golden Ration, how's it going? Cobra Viper 999, tagged to 75. I'm okay with this look. He's playing young Batman. He could pump up more for sequels. As I said, Cobra Viper, though. The problem, though, is you can't say that because Robert Pattinson has been on record saying that he doesn't believe in that. He doesn't believe in getting buff and gaining 40 pounds for a role. That's just not his style. So to say, oh, he could get bigger, he won't. He's already said it. And I respect him for that decision. But that means also that the defense that people keep coming up with can't hold. So no, he's young Batman. That's not an excuse. If you're still going to present him, again, let me try and make it clear. if you're still going to present him as an ominous physical badass, he has to be an ominous physical badass. But he's not being presented that way. All right? He's not being presented that way. So how can I believe that he can just beat the crap out of some random dude like a buff badass would when he's not? Again, if I'm going to be critical of Infant's Nest, a 16-year-old girl beating up somebody who's bigger than her in Star Wars, I got to be critical of this too. Again, if he was using speed and cunning to take care of his problems as a younger Batman, that would work. But based on the trailer, and again, things can change. They're still filming this thing. They can still fix a lot of this. But if things don't change, logically, it does not work. So, sorry to be bursting bubbles if I am, but it's important for us to be honest, I think. Venom Broly 93, Pattinson is actually almost the same height than Batman in the comics animated series. Of course, less build. Chaos Hoy, what's going on? Iron Vet's in the chat too. How's it going? HyperNext13 tagged and says, have you seen the Lord of the Rings Gollum game teaser? I not expect that to come. Guess Gollum has his own video game. Wait, what? No, I've never even heard of this. Brad Noble, what's going on? Pet Troll, you've been replaced because you never tagged me in any of your comments and you just randomly come and go as you please. Whereas General Wingster, who is my new pet troll, is much more consistent and does tag me. Hardwick says, I found Robert Pattinson's performance in Lighthouse fine but unremarkable and thought that Willem Dafoe carried the movie. Oh yeah, Willem Dafoe is by far the best performance in the movie. However, Pattinson does a great job. He does a fantastic job. 13th Warrior, Oklahoma and Kansas and Iowa and Nebraska, where the wind comes sweeping down the plain. Yes, fun way of saying, oh, well, you know. Nitrium is 78. Cuties, did Netflix actually produce the movie or they are only showing it? I'm pretty sure YouTube, TikTok also will have a lot of videos of underage girls doing all sorts, child beauty pageants. And again, I think that they should be gone after as well. The difference here, though, is that this is a movie that is being held on Netflix's platform and is being given by Netflix a TVMA rating. So yeah, they didn't produce it. This is something that it was made and it was shown at Sundance, and then Netflix bought the production, or rather bought the exhibition rights to it. So they're still showing it, they're still hosting it, and they're the ones that, one, made that Netflix poster that is completely disgusting, and two, they are also the ones that are they're also the ones that are rating this thing TVMA, meaning that they are trying to gear this towards an adult audience. That is disturbing. So, Nitrium, I don't know if you're trying to do devil's advocate here, but if you're honestly defending this movie, I'm sorry, dude, that's a problem, man. Because there's certain things where an opinion is an opinion, but when it comes to little girls being used in this way, because again, Netflix especially, they made the poster that sexually exploits those children. And that's disgusting, and it's indefensible. Period and stop. Indefensible. So I hope you're just doing devil's advocate, man, because if you're actually defending it, man, that's a problem. Golden Ration tried to tag me, but didn't quite finish it, but I saw it. He said at 78, I will not judge the movie by their trailer, just like Suicide Squad 1. Well, I did judge Suicide Squad 1 because the trailer wasn't very good, and the movie wasn't very good either. So sometimes you can. But I see what you mean. I do see what you mean. All right. Let's see where we are in the chat. Final Film comment. Welcome to the channel. Glad to see you here. Nitrium says, Cuties, I'm worried the outrage over this film has provided it a Streisand effect and doing the exact opposite, and more people are aware of it now. Well, as I said, I think it's good if more people are aware of it now for the sole purpose of hopefully getting it taken down. Now, if it doesn't get taken down, then I think that you could definitely point to, okay, this seems to be something that may have caused more problems than not, because you could say it brought more sickos attention to the movie that otherwise may have never heard of it before either. However, I think that is a good thing if it means the film does get taken down. Max tagged at 801, did you just say Leonard Cohen can't sing? No? Wait, what? Oh, wait, are you talking about, yeah, that version of Alleluia? Yeah, dude, that's not good singing, bro. I'm sorry. That version that we heard, not good. Golden Ration, 801. I also prefer less CGI. Yes, CGI fests are not good. Nathan Slay, it's mind-blowing when you realize that Sean Connery's 90. Very random, Nathan Slay. Very random. Latino Slant, who's a member, 802 says, oh, didn't just want to say hi, my brother. What is going on? Latino Slant. Thank you so very much for being here. Still got 94 people in chat. Thank you very much. Smash that like button, please. Howard 802 says, but Odin, let's admit King Shark CGI will never be up there with Black Panthers and Midway CGI. Those green screen effects are classics. Yes. Yes. Thank you for that, Hypern. Yes. God, the CGI in those movies. Eric K says, I am leaving. I do not want Odin's love. Eric K. Eric K. I love you, dude. Hardwick 802. I watched the Enola Holmes trailer. I can't tell you how good it will be from the trailer, although Henry Cavill looks pretty good as Sherlock Holmes. Games Repository. Remember comedies? Yeah, remember when movies were funny? Good times. Good times. We need better comedies and more of them in today's world. Hardwick says, the singer in the Snyder Cut trailer is Leonard Cohen, the writer, original songwriter of that song. He's legendary. Okay, I don't care. The version that we hear, he cannot sing it. Okay, he wrote the song. Good. It's a good song. I like the song generally speaking. Is it overused? Hell yes. But him singing it in that version that is being played, his voice does not sound good. I don't see how anyone can say his voice sounds good. Like tone, pitch, quality. These are objective things. It could just very well be that specific performance, but whatever the version that was being played, he does not sound good. Sorry, not sorry. Come on. Get the rose-tinted glasses off, please. Max. Speaking of CGI, I think you really underestimate James Cameron's Avatar. It's a fantastic movie. Your criticism of it being like other movies makes no sense. Whoa, Max. There's tons of movies that have similar stories, tropes, stories to other movies. It's a classic Native American movie. It's just a new way of telling it. Oh, Max, get out of here. Dude, they literally were able to put the words for the trailer for Avatar and set it to the animated trailer for Fern Gully, and it works. It freaking works, dude. No. Don't even start with that, man. The CGI is well overrated. The world looks great. The Na'vi people do not look good. And I'm sorry, but story-wise, there's a lot of issues too. Because please explain to me how a ponytail that is used for them to have sexual relations with each other can also therefore be used to ride an animal. Have fun with that one. Yeah. Get out of here with that nonsense. It's a crap film, and it borrows from much better movies. Far superior movies. And its agenda also is done very poorly too. Unobtainium. No, we can't have it. No, it's an allegory for oil and taking over. No, we can't have it. Fern Gully did it better. Fern Gully had more of a message, and it still did it better. Get out of here with that nonsense. Nathan Slay 804 says, I know Bully Maguire. Oh, I know him. He would beat Emo Wayne by having a dance fight with him, and he would beat Thanos by snapping his fingers with the gauntlet and saying, "You gonna cry? You gonna cry?" Yes, Bully Maguire is the best. Bruce at 805 is a member. I think I knew what I know when I thought I'd known what I knew when I knew it. Damn you, Bruce. Bruce, why did you make me read that comment? Why? Let's see. Okay, let's see. All right, chat has jumped on me once again. So let's see. Oh Lord. Hardwick says Wonder Woman 84 costume designer said Max Allur's appearance was inspired by Trump. Jenkins said his characterization was inspired by several businessmen, including Trump, but mostly Bernie Madoff. Okay, yeah. So nothing's changed. So. Max says, I'm so sick of hearing about the Snyder Cut. Don't you just want it to be released so people can stop talking about it? Yes, Max, I do. As someone that is not very much looking forward to it because it's the same mindset of BVS was so much better with 30 extra minutes. No, it wasn't. It was still bad. It still was CGI and green screen mess. And it still had issues. So, yeah, I'm right there with you, man. I want it to be released so that people stop talking about it. Nana Reaper's a member at 808 says, and I am not a fan of Gal Gadot. I don't think she has much of a range, and in most of the characters she plays are meh at best. No, Nana Reaper, I think that's a fair take. She doesn't have much range. I do agree with you there. She does not have much range. She's not a great actress as far as like dramatic performance goes, but I think that she works very well as Wonder Woman. I think that she fits the part. Grandmaster Yoda at 808 tagged says, I still do believe 007 will be the biggest box office in 2020. I don't. There's other films that I think will do better than 007 this year, but we'll have to wait and see. Hardwick says, one thing I find a bit odd is that Gal Gadot said that when she read the Wonder Woman 84 script, she liked Maxwell Lord and Cheetah as much as Diana and Steve. She says they are very likable, and that does not make any sense, seeing that one of them is supposed to be the villain. So that says more about her ability to read a script than it does about anything else. Why do you always have to be contrarian? Every single stream gets old. Dark Shadow Logan, throwing shade. The whole cuties thing is sickening, and this stuff never would have been tolerated or tried by a company 20 plus years ago. Facts. But the sad thing, 20 plus years ago, that is true. However, I do think that there were some really bad things happening, worse things happening 20 years ago that probably couldn't happen today, just because of the awareness that we have and because of laws that are on the books now, because of crap that happened that long ago too. So yeah, it's both true and not true at the same time, because the behind the scenes stuff is definitely, I think, more so. Nitrium clarifies, says, QD is not defending the film at all, just discussing it in the limited 200 characters, so I have to be lean. The film obviously is, to use SJW term, more than a bit problematic. Yeah, and Nitrium, that's what I thought, man. That's what I assumed, because you're a good guy, and you're always in here having really good discussions, and you're always just trying to like dig a little bit deeper, and that's why I appreciate it. I was just double checking to make sure, because as you said, the limited characters make it hard to get a fully fleshed out comments. That's why I was just double checking with you, man. Yeah, Nitrium, we cool, bro. Nathan Slade, at 816, who will win the Academy Award for worst CGI effects? Will it be Black Panther 300 or Justice League? I see what you're trying to do there, but it doesn't work because Academy Awards don't work that way. But I see what you try to do. Bruce at 816, Odin, have you heard that the term full stop is triggering to Generation Snowflake? Full stop. Why? That's a new one. AJ Borkar, I see that name in the chat. Richie B, what's going on? And yes, Avatar sucked. Thank you, Richie B. Thank you for speaking common sense. I appreciate it. Edgardo Martinez at 817 says, Avatar is boring. Damn right. Oh, unobtained. God, so bad. Nana Reaper, the Navi, hashtag me too, the wildlife in Avatar. Yes, they did. Yeah, absolutely. And I always love to hear people say, well, actually, if you look at it, no, there's no defense of it. It's not a well-written story. It borrows from much better movies. Nitrium at 819 is a member. Can't wait for the Snyder Cut to be done and dusted. If nothing else, than to shut Ryan Kittle and Lethal Lightning. All right, I have to say, first off, I love my boys Ryan and Lethal. Like they are part of the lifeblood that keeps me going. Ryan's rages are just so funny, and Lethal is just like one of the most fun guys to talk to. I'm very sad. We used to have a stream that we'd started doing like once a month, and I think we got about 3 or 4 episodes in, and we were doing a show, and it was basically supposed to be a worldwide stream. So we had people from all different parts of the world, and he, of course, represented the latest time frame and time period being in Australia, and it was so much fun. It was called the League of Nations. Sadly, one of the members of the League of Nations just kind of went AWOL and went nuts, and sadly that kind of led to the end of that one over time, because I was trying to bring it back and then just never really could. But we had some awesome people, like Lethal Lightning was great. He was on there. And then Hey Viv, too. If no one follows Hey Viv, she's awesome. She only makes videos when she can, because she, like me, where she works during the day. And she actually has like a real like job working in the industry. I want to say she's an editor, or I know she works in the industry. I always forget exactly what she does, because I don't think she talks about it a whole lot in general. But she's great. Her channel's fantastic. So yeah, shout out to Hey Viv. It's been too long. Hey Viv and Lethal Lightning, my former colleagues on the League of Nations. But yeah, I love Ryan as well. His rages make me so happy. All right, here it is. All right, Max, defending Avatar, says, ponytails are used to feel each other's emotions and connect. They still have sex like humans, but they use ponytails in addition. Speaking of which, Disney Plus cuts out the ponytail shot. Well, it doesn't surprise me, because also, based on the images that we have of the Na'vi, they don't have the parts to have sex like a human, which means they have it with the ponytail. So, sorry. Then he says, ignoring the trailer, the movie, and the characters and the emotion is so well done. Give it another chance. No, dude, I've seen it more than once. I've seen it more than once. Dude, I saw that thing in theaters in IMAX 3D. I saw it on the biggest screen possible in the best way possible, and it was still bad. All right, if you enjoyed it, hey, boom, no problem. If you subjectively had fun with it, that is fine. I will never try and take away your joy for subjectively enjoying a movie. But if you come in and start throwing, hey, objectively it's good, I will fight you every single time. I will fight you every single time. Or if you say it didn't have problems, or that the problems and the criticisms that we bring up aren't valid, then I will fight you. If you just say, I enjoyed it, I'll say, okay, great, fine. I like bad movies too. It's okay. as long as that we can admit that they're bad movies, it's fine. All right, let's see. Tina B at 821 tagged. It says 20 plus years ago, we had a movie called Pretty Baby with a very young Brooke Shields as a child of the night. That's terrible. That was an expression that I added to it, but that was basically what you're trying to say. So I'm saying it's terrible that they had a film like that. And it says, wait, that was mid-1970s, and before that was Lolita, context child movies. Yeah, I know there's been films like that have existed for a long time. And again, look to Hollywood even today. I mean, there's a director working in Hollywood. I think he's still alive. And he committed a egregious crime and fled the country to avoid prosecution. And Hollywood still defends him. They still say he's great. And it's like, no, I don't care what movie he's made. That's a sick dude. And a criminal. Bruce says, Odin's catching up in the chat. I am, and it always makes me happy. Always makes me happy. Nathan Slade, Tad 823. I think Ridley Scott might be a director who was great at first, but isn't anymore like Spielberg or Cameron. Whoa. Okay, hold on. Well, Nathan Slade. Not that quick, man. Spielberg made a film called Ready Player One, and it was terrible. The book it's based on is fantastic. The movie sucked. Talk about a CGI fest. Wow. That was a very bad Spielberg film. So yeah, to say Spielberg is still just as great as he used to be, no. The films that he did in his earlier career, especially in the 80s and 90s, are far superior than the films he's made later in life. He's made some good films, but guess what? So is Ridley Scott. The Martian is a more recent movie, and it was fantastic. So no, Ridley Scott's about at the same level as a Spielberg and as a Cameron, because guess what? Cameron has also made good movies, but he's also made some stinkers, notably Avatar. And seeing that he's not making any other movies except for Avatar until the end of time, something tells me we will see more bad movies from him. So, I mean, just put it out there, man. Yeah, that wasn't a good take. Stephanie B says, do not say the name regarding the League of Nations person. Don't worry, I won't. Anyone who has been following it will know the story, will know the legend. And I honestly hope and pray that person is doing well because they needed help, and I hope they got it. CW Trixie, Fern Gully's greater than Avatar. Yes, because you know what Fern Gully has that Avatar will never have? Robin Williams as Batty. Yep. Not to mention, the music in there is fantastic. All right, Tina B tagged me. Mike Drop, what's going on, dude? Says, I already told Nitrium, if you think Ryan and Lethal are done after the cut comes out, you are sadly mistaken. It will never end, never. No, it will never end. Yeah, people think, oh, it'll end then. The only thing that's going to end, though, is you're not going to see the hashtag release Snyder cut and all that stuff. You're still going to have people, because here's the thing, too. There's going to be more DC movies coming after it. And if we've seen anything from the DC fandom event, they will be fighting tooth and nail to defend every single DC film that ever comes out. Until they can't anymore. There's going to be a point where there's going to be a film where even they can't defend it, but they're going to try. They're going to try. And again, that's why we always try and have to get the rose-tinted glasses out of the way and look at it for what it really is. That's why I'm the critic who's a cynic. I keep it real. I try and keep it real. Nitrium at 826 as a member says, Avatar, I support the original and the sequel only because my niece just adores the film and is crazy hyped for the sequel, even if I don't care personally. I hope Avatar is good, if only for her. Nitrium, that is, to me, a perfect reason to want the film to be good. And that's not to say, and keep in mind, I don't want the film to be bad. I honestly don't. If the movie comes out and the story is mind-blowing and the effects work and it doesn't look like just computer mess on screen, I would love to love the movie. I honestly would. I just don't think it will be. But that being said, Nitrium, that is a very good reason to want a film to succeed and to defend a movie too. Because there's movies that all of us are going to have those personal connections to, right? There's going to be movies that people attack where we say, I like it because there's something very personal attached to it. I know I always ask my students what their favorite films are. And a couple of them always bring up movies that objectively are not very good. And even they're like, yeah, it's not a good film, but I love it because this was a film I got to see with my dad. This is a film that I got to see at a very special time, right? That to me, I think is a perfectly legitimate reason to defend a movie and to defend a movie tooth and nail too, right? So Nitrium, yeah, kudos to you, man. And that's why I said, if someone were to come in here and say, you know, I just enjoyed the movie, I know it has objective flaws, I'm never just going to crap on the movie for the sake of crapping on it. And that's what I think some people think I do, and I don't. Like, again, I give my honest thoughts on it. And so the only time that I'll ever go off on anything is if someone is trying to go back and forth and is trying to say that something that does exist or something that is true isn't, right? That's the only time that I really ever fight back. But if you're just saying your opinion, man, yeah. Nitrium, I fully respect that, dude. I hope it's good for that reason too, because I really do want, yeah, I think especially when you think about family members being happy, that's great. Nana Reaper 8026 says that's Roman was the one. Roman Polanski was the one that got caught. The rest are praising him because they didn't get caught and don't want the spotlight on them. Very true, Nana Reaper. And if it's not because they didn't get caught, it's because they knew about it and they said nothing, which means they're just as complicit. That's a cover-up conspiracy right there. And they also need to be called out too. Harvick says, creepy child movies go back to the 30s. There was a series of short films starring Shirley Temple called Baby Burlesques featuring scantily-clad toddlers, often very odd situations. Oh, that's not, yeah. I mean, yeah, that's this stuff, because the sickness has been around for a long time. The sickness has been around for thousands of years. So it makes sense that in any industry, whether it's film or television, it would also have been around too. It's not a new phenomenon, but it is one. Here's the problem. Here's the difference, Hardwick. It's now trying to get general acceptance. It's now trying to get general acceptance. That's why they call themselves maps now, because now they try and say, it's who I am. It's how I identify. And they're trying to justify it. And we can't let them, because it's not normal. They have a psychological problem and they need help. And in Hollywood, they need to be exposed. All right, we're getting close to the end. Nathan Slade, 830, says, a good, bad movie is Karate Kid 3. Is it bad? Oh, yes, it's ridiculous and has bad acting. Do I enjoy it? Heck yes. Same thing with, I would say, the next Karate Kid with Hilary Swank. Is it a good movie? Not really. Is it better than the original? Should it have been made? Probably not. Doesn't mean that I didn't find enjoyment from it when I was younger. I was like, oh, this is fun. This is a fun film. Because I was like, oh, martial arts. Sure. As I saw someone random put TikTok as a mental illness. Damn, son. Tell us how you really feel. All right. Let me catch up with my D-Laugh fam real quick, too. Will Gentry says, how could we possibly obtain this unobtainium, especially if it's a whole 200 clicks away when we're an interstellar species? I know, it's a great point. Oh, Lord. Adam the Clan, well, Odin, you know what is behind a ponytail's butt. Ew. 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 Ew, Adam. Ew. Nana Reaper. I was a member 832. There are documented cases of the sickness of Hollywood. Goes all the way back to Greeks. Yep. Again, it's been around for thousands of years. And so it makes sense that in any industry, right? In any industry, in any organization where children and adults are involved, it's going to happen. It might be uncomfortable to think about, but it's a fact. And it's something that I think needs to get more attention, because that doesn't mean, oh, this entire industry needs to be shut down because it has these cases. Instead, it needs to be, no, this case, or rather this illness, this mental illness, needs to be called out for what it is and needs to be exposed, regardless of where it's happening, right? Because obviously we can connect this back to, things going on in the church, right? And people often wrongly say, well, that's because the entire church is, and that's not true, because the percentage you actually find is similar to what you would find in public schools and schooling in general, and in any organization where you have kids and adults in general. It's worse, though, because it's a place where that shouldn't happen, right, when it comes to the church overall. But regardless of where it is, it needs to be called out, it needs to be addressed, and the people need to either be arrested or need to get mental help, or both. because it's something that is a problem and it needs to be fixed. Harwick says Van Jones made a 3D VR series called The Messy Truth, lets viewers vicariously experience oppression. Yeah, we talked about that on Friday Night Tights, so we already covered that a little bit. Let's see. Will Gentry then says that film is a damn joke. I love it. All right, so I am now caught up with everybody over on YouTube, and so what I think I'm gonna do, I don't have time, but in the future, I think maybe for my next stream, I'm going to try and do some giveaways because I've got a stack of films to give away. So also, I guess I'll show some of them. So I'm not giving them out today, so don't get too excited. But these are things that I'm going to give out very soon. So shout out to the K-Man because he sent me a Steelbook Blu-ray of Train to Busan, which is an amazing zombie film. Like one of my favorite, not just zombie movies of all time, but also one of my favorite films of the last 10 years. This came out in 2016. So I have a Steelbook of that. That will be a part of giveaways in the future. I've got Tomb Raider. Some people like it. Some people not so much. I'm kind of mixed on it personally. That's one that will be featured in giveaways. Also, we have an Arrow Video release of In the Aftermath. It's an interesting film, interesting concept. I think some people know about it, some people don't, but Arrow Video always has good titles released. Also, I've got Bohemian Rhapsody. I actually think this is a good film. Compare this especially to the more recent movie that was made about Elton John, which just didn't look good. I saw the opening. It looked terrible. This, on the other hand, was actually very, very well done, very well acted. And then what I think is one of the best films ever, The Fanatic. Oh my gosh, this film. Oh my gosh. This is going to be like a huge prize for someone to win. But anyway, those are going to be given away. Those are going to be given away on future streams. Again, I'm trying to plan it out where if I can catch up with the chat early, then I can do the giveaways. But as we all know, I always fall behind. But with that being said, thank you so very much for everyone for being here this evening. We are wrapping things up. Hybrid X13 is one of the last comments says, have you seen Peninsula yet? It's not out. Theaters haven't been open, man. They're opening this week. They're opening this week near me. So I'm going to have to check and see if it's playing at any of my local AMCs now that they're opening this week. So I'll have to look that up, and hopefully it is indeed the case overall. D-Laugh fam, you're great. YouTube fam, you're great too. I'll have more for you soon. Bruce, thank you so much, man. He's the one that sent me a lot of those movies that I just showed you. Tina B says, Odin's right, that Elton John bio is awful. I saw about 30 minutes of it and wanted to put my head through a drywall. Yeah, Tina B, the only thing I know about it, and the reason why I haven't watched it, is because it was found out after the fact that the Vatican, you heard it right, the Vatican put money into that movie. So part of that production money came from the Vatican, and apparently it also came out of something called Peter's Pence, which is supposed to be money for the poor. So that's why I refused to watch it, out of principle, more than anything else. Yeah, it was a huge scandal, and it's something that I know I'm not letting go of, and I want answers on too. And that's why we have to hold our leaders responsible, and that includes also in our faith as well. So anyway, you guys are freaking awesome. Thank you so very much for being here and for being great people. Blake St. Clair, what's going on? Dude, came in right at the very end. Yes, Tina, great question. There's certain answers that I could have for that, and a lot of it has to do with the fact that there seems to be a certain group that's at the top of the Vatican that are not following certain moral guidelines of the church, and they have nefarious purposes and they have nefarious drives that are leading to them supporting that kind of crap and nonsense. So let me just leave it at that because it is not the day or the time to cover it. But yeah, power corrupts. Doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, what you did, as long as you love me, power corrupts all. Eric K, no, you're awesome. No, you're awesome. No, you're awesome. No, you're awesome, Eric K, as everyone else is here too. Nana Reaper, time for Office of the Holy Inquisition to make a comeback. Seriously, Inquisition needed in the highest office. And not to torture, because again, that's something that actually did not happen that widespread. It did happen, and it was terrible. But for the most part, it was mostly a, hey, you're not following the church's rules. Here's a penance for you. Some took it overboard, right? People were killed. People were tortured. That's terrible. That needs to be condemned. But I think that we need to have some investigations being done, absolutely, into these people and into the things that they're doing, and for it to be publicly brought about too. Anyway, I love you guys. You're all amazing, beautiful people. Let me shout out first, though, some of my members. So my YouTube members, if you are at the Army of Asgard level or higher, you will get your name shouted out at the end of every single live stream. And so I want to give a huge shout out to Andrew Hoyle, Sushi Joe, Eric K, Orange Chat Reviews, Bruce, Adam Avery, Latino Slant, The Bosco 2000, Twirly Wolf, Jay Stowe, Aiden Vickery, and that's it. I thought there was more. Thank you so very much for being my YouTube members. Shout out to Tina and Steph, who are my awesome mods. Tina, of course, the Empress of the Universe. Steph, who is my general of the Valks. They're freaking awesome. All my members that were here tonight, too, thank you so very much for being here, and thank you for your continued support. I hope everyone had fun in the chat. Hopefully, not everyone, hopefully most people were not triggered by anything that was said tonight, because that would not be good. I want people happy and having fun, but sometimes when topics come up or when people bring things up, I have to keep it real. I have to say it as it is. But anyway, D-Laugh fam, y'all stick around. I will take care of y'all like I normally do. Shout out to my D-Laugh fam. Shout out to my YouTube fam. You guys are all amazing. I love you guys so very much. I finally was able to update the Patreon video to have all the names so far. Keep in mind, next stream will be on Saturday. Obviously, Friday Night Tights will be over on Gary's channel. We got some really cool things, some exciting things that I'm pumped about coming to Friday Night Tights. And I can't reveal too much because I don't know what I'm allowed to share, but let's just say stuff is coming, and it's going to be very, very exciting for everyone involved. So anyway, I love you guys. Queen Elizabeth is here. Hail Queen Elizabeth. Queen Elizabeth. The Queen is here in the chat. I love you guys. You're awesome. Have a wonderful night. And as always, God bless. And now a huge shout out to all of my August Patreon and Subscribestar members. Starting on Patreon, Albertus Magnus, Animation Commentator, Brian P., David Bobrizik, Dion, Divex, Enrique Evangelista, Father Christopher Miller, Hail Father, Father Damian Cook, Frank the Tank and the Shawhan Wiener Dog Clan, Harold Francis, the Hunka Chunky Funky Monkey, Inflamed Wood, It's a Trap Productions, Jason Clark, Jacob Juice, Jeffrey Toon, Jonathan Carney, Kenneth Cameo, Lady T, Laura Story, Mad Mitch Dunaway, Mike Jackson, Mr. Peabody and his evil twin with the beautiful hair, On to June, Orange Hat Reviews, Out of Step with Reality, Riff Magos, Rosetta Allen, Steve Glasker, Teresa Martin, Theodore Bendon, Tina Bojan, and Tina B., my Valkyrie and Empress of the Universe. Thank you so much for supporting me on Patreon. And also, shout out to my Subscribestar peeps, Stand For, John B., Perpetual Punster, Robert Revo, Mr. Roy, Glinzer, Darkstar 57, J. Alex McCarthy Jr., US 888209 Fast, Dean Heiss, Harold Francis, J-Rod the Beer Guru, Nebadon G. Adams, and ZK Man, and Outpost Dyer. Thank you all so very much for supporting me this month. You guys are freaking awesome. If you want your name shouted out at the end of every single video and live stream, and also if you want to have access to special perks like giveaways and an exclusive podcast that I do with fellow YouTuber John the Flick Pig Flickinger, please check out Patreon, Subscribestar, and YouTube memberships in the links below. You guys are all awesome. I love you to death. Have a wonderful day, and as always, God bless.